Hey there, and welcome back to my channel, Mr. Right in the Philippines. Glad you're here. Welcome back. Glad to see all of you back here again for my next video. Today's topic is going to be some of the cultural differences that I've noticed during my time here in the Philippines, both living here now and what I observed the 6 previous times that I had visited here before. So before I get started, a little housekeeping. So if you find value in this video, please like it, give us a thumbs up, hit the subscribe to the channel, please hit that notification bell so you get notified when I do new videos, and please leave a comment. This list is not all inclusive. My disclaimer is this is based on my own personal experience. Maybe you had a different experience in a different part of the country. That's okay. So leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And I'm trying a new microphone thing today. Some people said that you could hear the background noise in the last video. So let me know what you think about this. If this sounds better or the other one is better. So my disclaimer again is this is literally just the differences I've noticed between the cultures here and life here in the Philippines versus what I experienced back in the US. I don't mean this to be discriminatory or derogatory in any way. I'm not saying one way is good or bad, or any of these are better or worse, or one way is better or worse, or anything derogatory or diminishing at all. I'm just literally just telling the differences. Again, my purpose here is to help educate you. If you're planning on visiting here or moving here, I want you to be prepared. These are some of the things that I've witnessed, and it's just a difference of culture. These are things I'm getting used to, and it's what it is. So don't bash me in the comments, because I'm just giving my honest opinion. So here we go. And these are not in any particular order whatsoever. These are just random as I observed them or as I thought of them. Then I started adding them to the list. But the first thing I want to talk about is the difference I noticed in work ethic and teamwork. Now, most of this I experienced watching in restaurants, and I noticed I was sitting at a bar one day, and I watched. It was like a well-orchestrated team, how they all just worked well together. And I was sitting in a bar just watching, and I remember one of the first times I came here, and I went out to dinner with my Filipina, and I don't remember what it was. I needed a napkin or a glass of water or another drink or whatever it was. And she just grabbed the first person that walked by, and I said, no, wait. We have to wait for our server. And she's like, no, it doesn't matter. You can ask anybody. So in the US, and restaurants are typically, if you don't know, they're all divided into sections, and each server is responsible for their own section. So in the US, if you had grabbed somebody that walked by, they would typically say, hold on, I will get your server for you. But here in the Philippines, no, that person, whoever it was, just went and got what I needed and came back, and that was it. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. You didn't have to, wait for that. Rarely in the US are you going to see a manager taking orders. You're going to never see a hostess running food. You're not going to see, I've seen the bartenders here bussing tables. In the US, everybody has their own defined lane. The manager is the manager, the hostess is the hostess, the server is the server, the busboy, bartender, bartender, cook is the cook. And they don't go out of those lanes. But here, I've watched, like I said, managers taking orders, hostesses running food. The bartenders actually take the drinks out to the table. In the US, they'll bartender, no offense to my bartender friends, some of them best friends in the world, they'll make that drink and it'll sit there until the server comes to get it. But no, the bartender takes the drinks out there, and it's really cool to watch. And I actually talked to some of them about it, and their whole attitude, their main focus is on the customer. They want the customer. Their motto and their rule is that every customer leaves happy. And I think one of the differences, though, is here in this society, it's not a tipping society. So they're not working for tips. If you leave them, you give them 100 pesos or 200 pesos, which is about $2. They're grateful. If you don't leave them anything, they're just fine. You're going to get that same smile and welcome the next time you come in the restaurant. In the US, unfortunately, the way the business is set up, the restaurant business is workers work for tips. And if you don't tip well, you're going to get a reputation of being a bad tipper, and you probably won't get good service the next time you come back in there. The Philippines, it's just not that way. They really focus on the customer and the customer's experience. So just my thoughts, something I saw and something I observed that I thought was really, really cool though. That nobody's complaining, nobody's, I'm working harder than you, or this is your job, that's my job, and you shouldn't be. No, they didn't care. Nobody complained about doing something that wasn't their actual job title. The next thing is the security. I live here in Davao, which is the #1 rated safest place in all of the Philippines. But the amount of security, especially in the mall. Here, they're malls. They are like small cities here. I mean, some of these malls are 5-6 stories high, and they're immaculate and they're beautiful. But the security is really astounding, and I found that everywhere in Cebu, in Manila, Alabang. You know, any mall you go to, when you drive up into the mall, every car is stopped and searched by security. They look under the car, they look who's inside the car, they open and look inside the trunk. When you go into the mall, there's at least 2 security guards there. You have to walk through an x-ray machine. They are inspecting the bags and purses and everything, and they're going to wand you from metal things. A lot of the stores actually have security guards posted at the door of each of the entrances. And in the U.S., you don't really see that. You may see a couple of security guards wandering around the mall in general, and most of them aren't armed. But it's really more for show. Some stores will hire a security guard, but it's really just to make sure that nobody's shoplifting. But here, it was astounding. I was really surprised by the amount of security that you see, especially in the malls and in each of the individual stores. I mean, I went to the bookstore yesterday, and there's a security guard at the door. You know, and what's really cool too is I noticed that in the grocery stores, there's typically 2 entrance exits, and there's a guard posted at each one, again inspecting bags and things. But there's also guards roaming throughout the grocery store. And what was really cool is if you can't find something, they'll help you find it. You're not going to get that in the U.S. A security guard is a security guard, and they're not going to help you find your mustard or your soda or whatever item that you can't find in the grocery store, which I thought was pretty cool. The next thing is elevators here. Now, some of these, again, in the U.S., and there's an airplane going overhead. I live about 10 minutes from the airport. In the U.S., this would be considered extremely rude. In the U.S., it's customary that when the doors open, you let the people get out of the elevator before you try to get, so that you make room to get on the elevator. Well, here in the Philippines, it's not that way. Once the doors open, everybody bum rushes to try to get in the elevator, and you have to fight to get your way out. It was just something that was surprising to me. It's no big deal. It's just the way they do things here. It's their custom, and it's the way it is. So just something to be prepared for, which leads me to the next topic about lines. If there is no, see, in the U.S. there are predefined lines for everything. You're waiting in line at the checkout for groceries. You're waiting in line at McDonald's. You're waiting in line, for the ATM machine, whatever. You're in line, and if somebody is coming up, they will ask you, "Excuse me, sir, are you waiting in line?" And yes or no. Philippines, no. If there's not a defined line and actual, maybe even ropes to make that line, no, people will just walk right up and just jump in front of you. I was in McDonald's one time waiting in line, or what I thought was a line, but people just were walking in front of me. And I'm like, I thought I was standing here in line, but nobody behind me was complaining. One time I was waiting in an elevator, and 3 guys just walked up and just got in the elevator. And I was like, okay. So I actually asked people, I said, is that normal here? Because in my country, in the U.S., that would be considered extremely rude, and people would fight for lesser things than that. But they said, no big deal. Yeah, okay. So that's just the way it is. And you're going to wait in line here too. In traffic is horrible everywhere in the Philippines, but you're going to wait in line. I was amazed because it's 7 o'clock in the morning and I had to go to an ATM machine, and there was already a line of probably 10 people waiting in line for the ATM machine, which I found really, really, really surprising. So you'll wait in line for everything here in the Philippines. Something else that I thought, and this one's kind of funny, is dinner. Now in the U.S., it's rare that families actually sit down and have dinner together. Here in the Philippines, that's normal for families to sit down and have dinner together. But what I learned, and I didn't realize it, in the U.S., when you're done, you get up and you take your plate to the sink, in most families. I did that the first time I was here, and I got chastised by my Filipina. She's like, no, because I'm still eating. The baby was still eating, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know. And so the rule is, the custom is that you wait until everybody is finished eating. And I'm retired from the military, so I typically eat really, really fast. And we have a 3-year-old who eats really, really slow. So it can be a bit painful sitting there waiting for her to finish eating. But it is really, really, it's interesting that, and it's a time for her and I to talk. It's more family time. It's something I experienced as a kid when I was growing up. It was normal for us to sit down and have family dinners together. And it's a time to share your day and talk about what happened and what's going on, and everything else about in life. So, and the other thing too I thought was really funny is it was normal in I guess in anywhere in the U.S. that when you're done, you stack the plates on the table to take all of them in one trip. Here, no, apparently it's bad luck to stack the plates. Now I don't know if that's just my Filipina and where she's from, or if that's really a Filipino thing where it's bad luck to stack the plate. No, everybody has to take their own individual plate to the sink and start cleaning the table. So anyway, interesting. That was a funny thing. I did mention the traffic here. Again, traffic here is horrible. Just think about downtown Miami or pictures you've seen of downtown Los Angeles at rush hour. It's like that all the time here. And I've joked before, because they do have lanes, painted lanes, but I joke that I think those are just merely suggestions, because it's just organized chaos. In the US, the traffic lanes are the traffic lanes, and there's a protocol. There is, if you want to change lanes, you're supposed to use your signal, and the other person's supposed to let you in, and the bike lanes are the bike lanes only for bikes, and so forth. Here, no, I've seen cars drive on the bike lanes. I've seen cars drive up on the sidewalk to go around other people and other traffic. I've noticed that it's rare that there is working traffic signals. There's maybe traffic signals at the intersection, but they're not working. So they're typically treated like a four-way stop. But in the US, in four-way stop, everybody takes turns, and typically it's to the right and you go around. Well, here that's not the case. It's every man for themselves, and you just have to go when you can, and sometimes you have to force your way in, and it's really entertaining when you're in the back of a taxi watching this. I'm going to do a video one time of that, of a taxi ride, so you can see that. But I heard somebody else say that no, the lanes are painted there just for decoration, because nobody really pays attention to them, and even the Filipinos here joke that if you can drive here in the Philippines, then you're the best driver anywhere in the world. So anyway, it's just something you get used to. There's no need in bitching and complaining about it. It's just the way it is. It's their culture. Nobody's in a hurry to do anything or get anywhere. It's just the way it is. In the U.S., people bitch and complain, and road rage is a real thing. People get angry when they're sitting in traffic for too long, or if somebody cuts them off, and I say this jokingly, but I don't mean it as a joke, but road rage is a real thing there, and people have actually gotten shot, or people will fight just for minor things like cutting them off in traffic. It's sad, really, but and ironically here, I've never seen an accident here in the Philippines. Now, I'm sure, don't blast me in the comments saying that there's lots of accidents. I'm just saying I have never seen an accident in all the times I've been here. I've never seen an accident. So that to me was just mind-boggling. Something else, sneezing. In the U.S., it's customary. If somebody sneezes and you hear it, especially if you know the person, it's normal to say, bless you, kazunhai, God bless you, or what have you. Here in the Philippines, it's just not. If you sneeze, you sneeze. Kind of a funny thing. Just notice that I take offense to it. It's just a different cultural thing, and that's just the way it is. The next thing is sarcasm. It doesn't exist here, and it can be. You need to be careful. A couple of times with my Filipina, I was joking about something, and I was just being sarcastic, but she took it literally, and she was very offended. I think, we were at the bar one time, and we were sitting in the bar. It was my birthday, actually, and she said that she was gonna, go walk around the mall for a minute. And I joked with the bartender that, she must think I'm stupid or something. in my country, people would laugh about that because it's a sarcastic joke. Now, obviously, she doesn't think I'm stupid, but I knew what she was doing. I knew she was up to. She was trying to be sneaky, but she took offense to it, and she like, I would never think you're stupid. I would never. Why would you tell the bartender I think you're stupid? And but it's normal. So you have to be careful. Be aware of that. That they don't pick up the sarcasm very well. Now maybe in the bigger cities, somebody that's lived in Manila for a while, or Davao, sorry. Somebody corrected me on my last video for the pronunciation, or Cebu, something like that. In the big cities, they might get it a little more, where they've had a little more Western influence. They've interacted with foreigners more. Maybe they might get it, but for the most part, I would be careful. I would really be careful. The next thing is air conditioning, hot water, and appliances. So in the U.S., when you rent an apartment or a house, or you buy a house, it's normal that the house comes with air conditioning. It comes with appliances, and it comes with hot water everywhere in the house. Here, it's not normal. You need to ask if there's aircon, or ask, they call it aircon here, not air conditioning, but and you have to ask the landlord if they will install it. There's no central AC. I've not seen central air conditioning here anywhere in the Philippines, but they'll put in a unit and it stays cool. Hot water, same thing. We have, where we live now, they have a special portable hot water heater in the bathroom. So we have hot water for a shower, but there's no hot water in the kitchen. So that kind of took me a little getting used to, because we don't have a dishwasher. You're the dishwasher, or your Filipino is the dishwasher, what have you. But when you're washing dishes and there's no hot water, kind of you wonder, if it's how sterile it is. Is it, clean? Is it, you're getting rid of all the germs and so forth. And appliances. Don't assume that your house is going to have a refrigerator. It's going to have a stove. In fact, a lot of places don't have normal stoves. They'll have a burner, or a dual burner, on the counter, and that's how people cook. And of course, there's a rice cooker. There'll always be a rice cooker. Every place I've stayed, Airbnb, a rental house, anything, rice cooker is standard issue. So get used to that. But anyway, it's normal, and that's interesting. And on the flip side of that, though, what I did notice in the U.S. is that it's rare or difficult to find a house that's fully furnished. Whereas here in the Philippines, it seems normal. Almost every place that I've stayed at, or rented, or even looked at to rent, was fully furnished, and it just seemed to be pretty normal. And nobody thinks anything of it. So, and then the last thing for today, this is going to be part one, because this list got really, really long. So I'm going to divide this up. This video is going to be part 1 of 2. And this, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this last one, because it's well documented how the women treat their men here. And I know the Western women, the U.S. women are going to be upset, but it's just reality. I know the U.S. women are upset with the passport bros, and American men moving here, and they go, oh, you just want a young teenage slave to do your bidding, and that's just not the case. This is just how the culture is. I've often said that the women here are like what they used to be in the 50s in the U.S. I don't mean that to be derogatory, but it's normal for a Filipina to be in her feminine energy, and feminine energy is all about nurturing, taking care of the family, taking care of her man, making sure that everybody has what they need, and that's just their normal way of doing things here. Once you earn your Filipina's trust, which they're not going to give you easily, if you meet a single beautiful Filipina, chances are another man has let her down before. So earning her trust may be a little more challenging, a little more difficult, but it can be done. And once you do it, she treat you like a king. She spoils you rotten. I mean, every morning, and again, I don't demand any of this. I never expected any of this. But every morning, my Filipina gets up and makes coffee. She cooks breakfast. She cleans the house, and she does the laundry, and she gets upset if I try to help. I think she's offended at maybe I think she's not doing a good job. But if I clear the table or try to do anything, she will make it clear, this is my responsibility, this is my role. And it's really funny to watch, not funny, but it's cool to watch, because I see how she, this is how they're brought up, because I watch how she teaches our 3-year-old. That when they're setting the table for dinner or breakfast or what have you, daddy is always at the head of the table. and daddy always gets served first. You know, put daddy's food here first. And they put their men on pedestals and they treat them like kings. And I love that because I you know, I tend to spoil my women as well. So I appreciate it, and I'm not one of those guys that take advantage of it. I'm not looking for a slave. I'm looking for a partner. You know, I have a partner, but so no, it's not that. But it is refreshing. It's really nice that they still value those traditional roles here. Which in the U.S. it's just not there anymore, and it's a lot of it because of necessity. Women have become more masculine, men have become more feminine, and a lot of it was out of necessity because it's really difficult, if not impossible, for a woman to stay home and for a family to survive on on a single income. It's just hard to do. And so, you know, when a woman goes out to work all day and the man's out working all day and they come home, well, who's gonna you know, cook dinner? Who's gonna wash clothes on the weekend? Who's gonna clean the house and things like that? So it's kind of built this, I don't know, this lane, this divide, you know, between them. But here in the Philippines, it's not that way. The roles are still traditional roles are very defined. You know, they trust their man to be the man of the house, to lead the family, make the decisions for the family. And they're not going to, you know, Filipino women are notorious for their jealousy and their, you know, their tempers. They're feisty. They're not going to put up with any bullshit. So don't get me wrong and think that they're just going to lay down and just let you walk all over them and whatever your word is law. No, they will. My Filipino will tell me if she thinks I'm wrong or she disagrees with something. They're not going to just, you know, step aside and let you, you know, do your thing. They're going to have a voice, and you should listen. So anyway, that's it for today. Went a little bit longer than I thought I was going to, but again, this is part one. I'll be back with part two in a couple of days. And again, remember, if you found value in this video, like it, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to get new notices. And again, leave comments, leave me feedback. I do personally read every comment. I try to respond to everyone. Of course, I don't, you know, every once in a while you get somebody that leaves a nasty comment or has something stupid to say, and so I don't respond to those. I don't have time to feed that negative energy. So I will just gloss right over that. I may acknowledge it, but I'm not going to respond to that. But I do appreciate your feedback, and I would love to hear from you. Let me know what you think of the video, and again, ask questions. If there's something you want to know, or maybe for future topics, something you want me to talk about in the future. So anyway, that's it for today. Take care. Peace.